So we're up in the clouds at this fabulous penthouse, and I'm thrilled to say that we finally have reached the finish line for one of the most challenging of all the apartments I've ever done, because this little penthouse, which is, I don't know if it's 1,300 square feet, had to have a complete electric upgrade. We brought up 200 amps from the basement, all new intercom risers, basically kind of reconfigured this whole apartment in terms of the wet over dry space, which we talk about in Manhattan, and made sure that we were taking this little pre-war gem and keeping it traditional, but bringing it into the 21st century, because it was probably almost in a state condition. It was really a mess. And one of the most challenging things in a penthouse, which is a home, is I think central air and the planning around all the ductworks that you need and the grills and everything that's related to that. So we'll come back on the way out and talk about the central air conditioning closets and the washer and dryer and everything that we did to make this space fabulous. But one of the big things here where we had landmark windows, we had landmark terrace doors, we had improper steps, they weren't to code, you could barely step up with them or down with them. They were, instead of being a full stair, it was a 3/4 piece of wood that was really terrible. And refinished the oak. We actually did probably a double stain and put more color in the finish. We use a low VOC oil, which I know a lot of people complain about not using, but it's so really harmless and very little smell, and the finish and durability of the floor is beautiful. These are the old floors. We repaired them. It was funny to me that I saw the first time I've seen a herringbone 100-year-old floor that was actually glued on cement. All new radiators, my custom grills, basically made with brass and a deco format design with the custom radiator covers that come off, and integrated the sill tops, all new landmark windows. Fabulous terrace that wraps around, we're facing east right now, and it wraps around this apartment, and it's absolutely breathtaking. The fireplace is a working fireplace. It's an accent wall, and we're looking at the hardware for the TV that pulls down. Because that's too high. I know a lot of people are doing this now. They think it's really popular. I see it everywhere. Hamptons, homes. It's very painful on the neck. But all new fireplace surround, all the top risers. I custom finished the absolute, so it's got a texture and not slippery. This is an absolute hearth and surround to tie into it, and our, again, beautiful landmark windows that we did with Skyline. Again, another radiator cover that's integrated so it matches what we've done. The condenser for this big part of the main unit, which covers both the guest bedroom and the living room, dining room, and kitchen. And you know, we opened this kitchen wall, which was really, I think, the most significant part of this change, because by doing this, we completely transformed the space. We were stuck with a board that wouldn't let us put a condenser outside where we would have rather. So we have touch latch, our invisible doors as best we can that hide this aerosys and carrier system, and they are absolutely so quiet you don't even hear, and you can probably hear in the video, it's not as much noise as even a sound machine. I think it's less than, I don't know, whatever it is, 62 decibels or whatever it is. We had to do a sound report for all of that. But we integrated adding a possibility for a dining room fixture in the future if that's what if the owners, and I think they're going to want a dining room fixture by hiding it in the beam. Before we had nothing. And then we, in designing this kitchen for people that cook and have, you know, kids and pets and whatnot, they have a puppy, so we created this little doggy gate. And I actually have this posted online where it just, you know, it opens up, it slides into the corner of the wall, you know, you stabilize it by making it sturdy. And we think for a little 10-pound dog it'll be fine. But we had this terrible dilemma, and it's kind of a funny story because it started with having another dog who passed away, and now we have a puppy. So it's solving the same problem for them, and it hides neatly back into the corner. Huge pantry. I love, you know, accommodating people's desires. Adjustable shelves. We've got, you know, all of the vertical slots for baking and trays and whatever they want for that. But it's pretty significant. I don't think you'd run out of storage space, especially in a kitchen like this. Sometimes we put drawers above this deep refrigerator cabinet above it, and a lever, you know, the microwave pull-out drawer I tend to love. And inside this cabinet, we actually have another tall slot for whatever one might have with cooking, cutting boards and whatnot. Soft close technology. We do another moon. Our blind corners, I always try to use as much of the space as I can. These are so easy. You know, you could put, I don't know, 100 pounds or more on one shelf and it's fine. A blizzard Caesar stone top with a really soft edge and a bullnose. Our wolf range. A vented hood, which is really powerful, and this stunning mosaic backsplash. I really think it probably ties everything together, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Tough finishing the corners, so we ended up finding shoulders that fit, you know, a crema marfil pencil that will finish the top. I do like this is a white, it's a Villeroy Bach sink, which I think actually works so well here, and love the oil rub bronze with the windows. I think that hardware ties it together. Porcelain floor, and you know, a little bit of drama here trying to figure out how to extend this kitchen with the old location, which is what you see here, and we built out the wall so we'd have more space, but I think the diagonal treatment allowed us to tie in at an angle the kitchen porcelain floor with the herringbone pattern that's throughout the apartment. And we actually ripped it up and had to put new herringbone to match the old in here. Here we have the thermostat, which you see for the central air system that's here. We have supplies, returns, and the big carrier air handler is here with a dehumidifier. And there's a drain. It actually drains out the bottom of the pan. There's a hole in the pan and a whole drain system underneath this, which is tiled. You know, and our magnet relay switches in all the closets. We do this, and then we have the Bosch, actually washer dryer. I think we should have probably struggled a little bit more, but we had and fought to have a vented duct, which could have gone over and out that little bathroom, which we're going to see in the second bedroom here, the guest bedroom. And then we could have had a full-size machine, because we certainly had room to do it, but we had so many battles with landmark approval of this penthouse, the penthouse windows, which I did and enabled in spite of the drama with the board not cooperating. But let's just go see. We won in the end, so it's fine. Here we have the second bedroom, I think, speaks volumes to just the views. I mean, it's just so lovely to see south and east, and the dining area of the deck is out here. All new landscaping went in, so I can tell that it's going to just be really truly lovely. And I think from the walkthrough we did yesterday, the clients are just thrilled. They did an accent wall. This room, the colors are really their choices. You know, what can you say? I think it'll be interesting to see what furniture looks like, because I think I would have chosen a bit different color for an accent wall, but I love the rest of the colors in the room. This is a throwback. This is a contemporary, that's my, you know, contemporary pre-war, you know, old is new. And there's this lovely Caesar stone, I think it's Vanilla Noir countertop that we paired with the Thassos floor, hex floor with marble, and tied in this detail, which you're seeing here, which is a quarter round molding and a pencil and just a matte ceramic subway tile. And the fixtures, which are Kohler, kind of architecturally tie into detail of the 30s. So I really thought that, plus, you know, tying in the pocket door where we have the brass finishes that match all the hardware here, with the chrome on the inside. And this tiniest of showers, we had trouble here, you know, going through here is fine. We actually had to remake this vanity so that we could actually fit in here. And what we found when we went in there is all that space that is now the seated area did not exist. So we were able to make this huge shower. This is just such a great shower. So that whoever's in this room as a guest and as part of their family has just a wonderful space to bathe. And we, you know, shower the top. We have waterproof lighting there. And I think the design challenge was I had to put back a stub wall because we didn't want to frame this in black to match. Sometimes I do that, like a door frame. So you put the seated stone pieces around it like it's a real door frame, and then the bowl nose on top of it. But since we were working with this tile, we wanted to have less black. And so the solution was to come up with another stub wall so we could frame the quarter round all the way around it and simplify the black element of the detail. And I think it just works fabulously. I know they love it, so it's great. But part of the other challenge of this apartment was to, besides the ductwork and how this would all fit into this penthouse, is storage space. So we had some fairly big closets. This is another walk-in closet. There's a huge one and two twins in the other room. All of our access panels are behind here. There's cold water out to the faucet. You know, the faucet out on the terrace, and then we have everything related to the washer dryer, our pocket doors, you know, with the soft close mechanisms, which really come in handy. And then most of the light switches are really a magnet relay switch, but this one, because of the pocket door, we couldn't do. But it's all tucked neatly into. I call these, you know, like a pocket, really. It's so that when you shut the door, you don't hear anything. It's just a really smooth German track. I think it's Hefla that we use for those tracks. Let's go back and see the other end of the house, which is the master suite. When we come in, we're at the front door in the foyer, right? And the master suite is kind of another wing off the house, which I think is great because the terrace is wrapping all the way around from east to north and west over there. And this bedroom, I think, is really a lovely section. There's a second air conditioning system. The handler and the condenser we had to put in the closet. We had to mount the condenser through the wall. I think it's just the board dictating it. It wasn't about noise when we did the sound testing of that. I think it was, I don't know, the fear of vibration or who knows, but you really don't hear the sound of this system. It's probably quieter than a white noise machine, which everybody seems to have and run an air conditioner just to hide noise. We have my classic, you know, custom-made covers where the panel moves off, and as I mentioned, we did this deco brass design for the grills, integrated the sills. These are the new landmark windows that have, I think, a really interesting detail because you have very little of the casings blocking your views, and it just helps to make you feel like you're up in the clouds. And on a cloudy day, it's just incredible. You feel like you're in a cloud, and you can watch the storms come in. It's just quite magnificent, actually, because we're up on the 20th floor and we're smack on Riverside Drive, so it's just spectacular. And we of course don't hear any noise, and you have another terrace access. We have twin closets here for storage, which is helpful. Again, magnet relay switches, and I know all the closet interiors are coming in. We have a huge walk-in closet on the other side, which we'll look at it, but it expands this whole wall, and we have in here, we have the return part and the supply to this room. But this whole wall is now a walk-in closet back there with a mirror. It's just such a mess, I don't even want to go there because we have like umpteen bazillion supplies and things because we have probably one more day before we're done with it. But this is something that I think, you know, that Debbie wanted, so we made sure we had this mirrored door, which is great for when you get dressing, and accommodated the lighting so that we have, you know, reading sconces here. Sometimes I put them up, but in this room it just made more sense because of the beams to just have wall sconces with, you know, separate switches for control and dimmers. And let's go look at the piece de resistance, which is the master suite, because in here we had, originally when you see the before pictures of this was such a mishmash of like hallway, and it was this tiny bathroom, and we thought, oh my gosh, what a waste of space. So we reconfigured everything. We made that foyer closet bigger. We added, you know, pocket doors so we don't have, you know, we don't have lost space with the doors swinging and conflicts of space. We have a his and her vanity, which I think, you know, just really makes such a difference when you have this much. And this is over 6 feet wide, and with our Caesar stone top, which I think this looks like frosted Karina, and our recessed Robert mirrors. I love the brush bronze. It's interesting to me because they don't all match. We have a hard time with that, but I think it's close enough that it works together well. I also know that when we switched, the tub was sitting on this wall, the wet wall's in both sides here, and the sink and the toilet was in the middle. We were constrained by the window because we couldn't make this wider, but you know, in the end with what we did, I just pulled the glass more toward the outside, and we actually have 30 inches on the inside. And I think if someone's showering, they're going to be facing this beautiful mosaic wall. Absolutely love this. I love the way it feels in texture, and it's just a maintenance-free bathroom. This is a porcelain floor. Love the juxtaposition of the 24 by 24 with the little subway tiles and Thassos glass wall. We have the radiant heat floor, and actually pulled the radiant heat up on the seat level so that it's not cold, which I think really matters. And of course everything's on a dimmer. Our exhaust is the one thing that kind of complicated this room, but what are you going to do? This is both the exhaust for the bathroom fan as well as the kitchen, and you know, it's in the one part of the room that we can't do anything about, and it's better to have it than not. So that's our only compromise, and in the end, I think it's actually stunning, and another feather in the cap before we run on to our next. So ciao for now. See you on the next.